A trait from a toxic person you'll be dating.
Um. mm, Wow. Calling my phone 100 times.
That's considered toxic.
Yes.
Why you not picking up?
Yeah. You see, that's toxic of you even thinking
No, no, no,
about
no, no.
that.
I'm playing devil's advocate. All right, it's just two of us here.
No,
Somebody got to do
that's
it.
not.
I'm playing devil advocate. I just want to see. I just want to see. I'm just pecking your brain and
Yeah.
playing devil's advocate for conversation's sake. Why you not picking up your phone?
Well, because why would you call me 100 times?
All right, prior to 100, I called you about 5.
Okay.
So why did I reach?
Maybe I didn't want to talk to you. Maybe I was sleeping.
So this is your reasoning.
What you mean? This is just recently? What are you
I'm
detective?
just saying this is your reasoning for not picking up.
Oh, I thought you
because
said
I
this
was
is
sleeping.
recently.
I did.
I think you said just recently.
No. I'm saying so. This you didn't want to talk to the person.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't say that's toxic. I would just say he's a crazy motherfucker. Probably controlling, manipulative. You feel me? Like I feel like toxic is kind of like. I'll say a toxic trait from a dating person. And I would say dating before you get serious, like talking dating. Always saying like toxic is like the girl telling me girls that's ugly or nah she pop like I feel like that's toxic. I'm talking to you. Why you always tell like any girl that you might think that's like I would talk to or I might be interested in, you're telling me negative things about that. I feel like that's a real toxic trait right there. Like, you think you got another one? Jealousy, definitely. That's definitely jealousy. Jealousy definitely stems from toxic.
Yeah.
You feel me? But you got another one? Dating?
Wow. Going through. Wow, that's another thing.
Going through phones?
Going through phones. Like,
What?
yeah, no, like that's that.
Why your phone blinging up too much times? Like, nah, this is unusual. It don't really ring this much.
That's even.
Why? Nah, that's some toxic shit right there. Like, that's a toxic response. I'm not gonna hold you. But I'm playing devil's advocate. I wouldn't respond like that, guys. Like, I just want to be clear. I wouldn't respond like that. But as far as like going through phones, I think that's curiosity. I wouldn't even want to put too much as insecurities. It can also mean guilt. I could say guilt. Like you probably trying to like, you fucked up. So it's like, damn, is she doing something? Like you want to prove to yourself, like, if she's doing something, I feel better about myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if it's a curious nigga, then it's probably like, damn, I'm on some loyal shit. Like I gotta see if my girls, you feel me? Let me see if I can catch her slipping. If it's on some so curious that insecurities will fall in, that probably he's cheating, or he might not feel he's cutting the cards, but she's just like, you can be my boyfriend. So he's probably trying to see if it's somebody else. That's I would say go to that going through a phone. If I was to give another one, let me see. Picking a fight
Yeah, that's toxic.
just to have the person mood off. Like, you know what? I'm throw his mood. He not gonna want to do nothing. Like, or he not gonna want to go out, or he not gonna want to, like you, like, huh? Like that's toxic.
Yeah, no, that's like premeditated. Why would you? That's thought out. I feel like people who deliberately want to make your life a living hell. That's toxic. Yes, like let me ruin this person's day. That's toxic.
Definitely. So Krishan Rock.
Oh my god.
Nah, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. All right, hold on. Let me see. Hold on. So, all right. So you have a girl a woman, sorry, that puts a guy on child support, right? I'm trying to be socially correct. That's I don't want to offend nobody. So you have a woman that has a child, and you got the child's father, and she put the child's father on child support, but she still asks the child's father for money or to buy things. Do you feel like that's appropriate, or she's doing too much?
Well, I necessarily, if you're already on child support, I don't know. It's depending on how much you make, and
Because you could be getting
then
like $10.
you never know.
You could be
That's
getting
a,
like $10.
I'm speaking from perspective of like, okay, well, who knows? I just feel like from personal experience,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's appropriate to, I guess, have like a point in compromise where you both can meet, even if like, okay, well, even if I'm on child support, that like, I don't know to what terms you have to be. Like, I feel like sometimes it's not a negative thing. Sometimes things work better when people are like, you're on child support, so you don't have to communicate through, like, maybe you can't speak to the person and you need to speak through the courts. So sometimes it's necessary for that aspect. But if you guys, I don't know, it has to be a meeting. It has to be a meeting point where I feel like, is it necessary? Would you guys be able to talk it out? Like, it has to be something before it gets to those, like, to that point where it's like, okay, I need to take you to court, and then I need you to give me money. Like, it's just like,
So
I don't know.
her asking for money is not too much. Being on track, but you did say it depends on how much.
Yeah.
All right, so you get, let's see, let me get a nice number. You get an extra $1,200 a month from child support. Are you still asking for stuff? Like, still asking, I need this for the kid, or I need this for, or it's like you gonna take that 1,200 and just hustle it out.
Mm. I just feel like everybody, everybody has their own situation. So I don't know. Like, I feel like that's fucked up.
In your situation,
Like,
if you was getting 1,200, like if you was in this situation, hypothetically speaking, let's make it clear. We just for content. Hypothetically speaking, you feel me? In your situation, you put your BD on child support. Now,
no.
you getting 1,200.
I feel like that's messy. No, I work, and I feel like anything that goes towards my kid, I feel like it's gonna go towards my kid. So if I have to spend 1,200 for a rent, like something like big like that where he lives, then that makes sense. But I feel like I'm not gonna dig into it and just make sure it's something that.
So it doesn't
Like,
matter what you get. It's just like take it and then hustle and get the job done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
And I respect that, but there's what?
Well, no, I'm trying to make sure we're on the same page because I'm not just gonna. Yeah. Just.
Nah, I respect that. Yeah, because a lot of people would be getting 12. Some probably getting 5. Some people will get anything, and there's
Nobody gets. I'm pretty sure nobody gets that much. 12. Well, yeah, people. Yeah,
1,200.
Yeah, but unless you're like he's making bank, like,
12,
but
12.
an average like middle class person is not like you on child support. You're not paying 1,200. Like, I haven't heard numbers unless you have multiple kids.
Okay.
Because I think it's like 20%.
Damn.
Or 10%.
I need to lawyer up. 1,200. I feel like 1,200 is proper for your kid. Like, I mean, if you're making it, of course. If you're separated in a situation, 1,200 for your kid a month, like to make sure there's food, make sure there's emergency, make sure like, I mean, if I had it where it's more, like
if you had a kid,
if I could do 1,200 and they say, yo, you gotta pay 1,200, it's like, all right, cool. Like, what is that reaction? Is that like a bad reaction?
No, it's a good reaction that you're willing to pay 1,200 a month for your kid because I don't know.
First of all, I don't even.
I feel like you don't. First of all, you don't have a kid, so that's why I be like, it's not until you actually feel it that you saying, "Oh, I'll give 1,200," because sometimes I feel like I feel like when you're in the situation, like I feel like it's very much different. You see, people like we forget like a lot of the times that people fail to, or like a lot of men or and women fail to live up to their roles as parents because, or like to even go to that point where it's like people fail to pay their child support or even do all of these things because it's like one, being in like having a child with somebody else sometimes is different to everybody. Like for one person it might mean roles and, oh, this is a new responsibility for me, and this is something that I have to take on, and I know that I need to pay. Everything that I do goes into my child. You know what I'm saying? And for other people, it's like whatever they do with their money is their business, and they don't care about nobody else. It's like they're very selfish. So it's like even if it was that they're paying 1,200, sometimes people don't want to deal. Like back to the topic, it's like people don't want to have to do even both. Like sometimes when the feelings are involved and things like that, people don't want to do none of that shit.
Yeah.
They don't want to ultimately pay. But unless you have a good relationship, that's what I'm saying. Like, unless you have a good relationship, you can do both. Like you can be able to, like, you're not feeling like you're doing both. It's not like feeling you don't. What I'm saying, you don't have to get to that point where it's like I'm paying child support and I'm giving you money on the back end. Because if you're on good terms, then you could just be able to establish a relationship where you don't need to get on child support. Because I feel like then that's such a different, like a different presence or feel. Like,
I mean, personally, in my shoes going through it, I don't feel like I ever be able to child support. One.
But why
Two,
does child support has a bad like reputation?
no. I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I don't.
Like, how do you feel? How do
From
you
how I
feel?
look at it, yeah. And if I hear like, yo, yeah, she's trying to put you on child support, like it's a bad stigma to it. Yeah, like definitely. It's like, damn, she putting you on child support for real. Like she doing you like that. Like it's like one of those like, But I feel like me in my situation, if I was to have a child with my girl and we ended up breaking up, um, honestly speaking, like I don't think it would be a situation where she would have to put me on child support because I'm gonna make sure I provide still. Like, even if I was on the other side of the world, like I'll make sure like the money that my part of the ends to make sure like my child is good. Like even like I have a stepson with her, so it's like even him, like I still look at it like, nah, we gotta make sure he's good. Like I'm gonna make sure like that's a responsibility in my mind. Like so it's like it's not like a if it breaks up, like it's like oh no, you handle it. You want to have the custody. Is like nah. Like me personally, you just gotta make sure your kids is Gucci, because that's gonna play a big role when they get older. You know what I'm saying? They gonna remember that. They gonna remember that pops wasn't really even supporting. You feel me? Like regardless, like they're gonna later understand. Like as a relationship, y'all probably couldn't work out. Two people that loved each other probably fell out of love. He can understand that. But as far as you as a father not being 100%, or even if it's 80%, I feel like that's the lowest you should even want to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like that's a problem because the kids gonna remember that, and it's mothers too. Mothers definitely gotta be A1, but if it's vice versa, like a father has custody and then the mother is not around because, whatever situation it is. But I feel like as a parent, no matter what the the bond is between you and them, the kid should always be good. Like that should always be a goal. Like I don't know why it's people that do live like that, but I don't know why. Like I couldn't even give you an explanation or even try to play devil's advocate to say their perspective. You know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to that, like, like even now, like even if me and my girl was to break up, I would still see her son as a son. Like graduations, birthdays, still like reach out, communicate, like you know what I'm saying? Like me personally, like, and it's not even like camera on or trying to win points, but I just feel like morally speaking, you spent this time in this person's life. You played a role in this person's life. You shouldn't let the relationship just dismiss that because your role that you playing is gonna be impactful on that kid's life. That's how I feel. My pops was impactful on my life, so it's like I know that feeling of him being there and it knowing like I'm aware like yo him being there and having a family where it's like they was together majority of my life like it's like I know it was an impact. You know, it was a good impact on my life. You know.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. No. Totally. I understand. I feel like I feel like with I'm trying to see whether or not I should jump in from like your relationship or like because ultimately you take it from a nice point of view. Like I feel like a lot of people don't take it from there. Like they wouldn't leave the relationship and even want to be interested
Mm-hmm.
in the person or their child and what they bring into like the relationship. And it was very sweet of you to even acknowledge the fact that like the relationship has nothing like relationship between the adults has nothing to do with the one with the child. So I feel like it's two separate things, and like you
Mm-hmm.
said, there's no need to like take it personal. I feel like sometimes depending, like you said, depending on the kid's age, ultimately they will remember things, but also I feel like nobody's I feel like nobody's forced to do anything that like ultimately nobody's forced to do anything that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like with like child support, I feel like to me child support may have this like bad like energy around it, but I feel like it is what it is, child support, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, a lot of people don't be there physically. People, it's there's child support, there's physical child support, and if you were there present in the child's life, there wouldn't be any need for you to go to court to do child support, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Unless there is like you need to be there physically present, emotionally present. And then like I feel like it's way bigger than just supporting a child financially, you know what I'm saying? Because it's different, there's different aspects to just having a child and you know, giving them what you can provide them with. But I feel like the most thing that you can provide them with is your time and your energy, and that for that you need to be physically present and you need to put in work, So you wouldn't know if you don't you don't make the sacrifice. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking from being,
No personal.
yeah, no, from a personal point of view, yeah, because I'm a
I
parent
feel
myself.
that.
So yeah.
Yeah, and then not devil's advocate. I feel like there's a lot of brothers. You feel me? That's just not educated. That's just they don't know how to handle that. You know, they find excuses. Like I got a lot of friends that make excuses, and to be their friends, I feel like it hurts me just to hear it. Cause like, damn, I can say something, but at the end of the day, you gonna make an excuse. But I feel like a lot of these brothers is not educated on how to handle a woman. You know, it's no guidance. Like even if our fathers is there telling us, it's like you just telling us what you know, nigga. Like how we know you is really a ladies' man. You probably just met my mom. And I'm not saying this from a personal perspective, but I'm just saying like a father that's telling their kid and teaching their kid about a woman is like you could probably just give me your perspective. It's just like it's. I remember growing up, the niggas that I was with is growing up like don't fall in love. Like, fuck this bitch, move on. Like, it wasn't like a guidance of greatness. Like, it wasn't a guidance of like, take care of a girl or like cherish. Like, it wasn't like whatever you would put the positive, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't no direction, no guidebook, no. It was just like whatever environment you in and what you're growing up, you know.
No, because you
I
just
hate
like
an
you
I
said.
forgot ass motherfucker. Hold on, let's talk to a motherfucker that always got excuses. How you feel about that? I hate a mother
No, because
like why you always got an excuse? Like
I'm
why
always
you can't just
apologizing.
take responsibility, like accountability, like mother, like what? Like
I
oh I'm
like.
sorry I forgot. How you forgot? You forgot to tell me you wasn't Lincoln? Like huh? Like
Wow. It depends. You
you
know.
think nah. I'm saying it's people that they done said shit to me. It's like, bro, why you just now telling me this? You could have told me this you had to know about this for a long time ago. So you telling me this last minute is like that's an excuse. Like you don't think so? Maybe I'm tripping. I'm taking it a little personal.
Yeah, a little bit.
Damn, I gotta play the Monica. Don't take it personal. It's just one of those days. Like it just caught me. You feel me? But nah, I just feel like there's people that do make excuses. Like you ever dealt with somebody is like you know some shit, you unquestion it. Like you as a person, you're like, you know what, let me question it. Let's bring it to the table, and then they just bullshit it. And it's like,
No, I feel like it's okay. So like you see, speaking from experience, I feel like sometimes like even for myself, like if I tell somebody, oh hey, I'm gonna be late, I feel like people misinterpret it sometimes. Like if you're gonna be late, like if you're doing it on purpose. Like sometimes it's like after a while, like if you just let's say for example we've met up 3 times and all 3 times I've been late to coming to meet you. Like sometimes you start to question and doubt if I'm even gonna show up. Like you know what I'm saying, which is understandable. But I feel like if every time I've showed up, you know what I'm saying, like if I pull through and anytime I'm telling you I'm gonna pull up, like I pull up regardless of what time I show up, I'm there. Like I feel like I'm trustworthy enough. But I feel like sometimes people just start to question you. You know what I'm saying? Like it just
now you take that. Now there's nothing wrong with you looking at it like that, but you can't see it as a problem if somebody else perceives it a different way, where they be
no. Of
like,
course, everybody's entitled
bro,
to
we
feel.
we said 3 o'clock. Hypothetically speaking, we said 3 o'clock because we can get this much done from this time to this time. You pulling up at 6 inconvenes that. You know, like that's how somebody can look at it. Like you get your point, you be like, you know what, you're right. Like even though you do be late, you do pull up. You could be a motherfucker that never pull up. But I that's like one thing I'm like learning in life. Like you can't get mad at how somebody looks at something. You can react to it, but it's like that person has all right to feel that way. But then again, you have all right to feel how you feel. And the other person shouldn't like take it no way. As long as y'all not disrespecting nobody, hurting nobody, if it's friendship, betraying the friendship, if it's relationship, being uncommitted to it, um, you know, even business partners, just like, you know,
Yeah.
but
How do you feel? I don't know if you have experience. Well, this jumps from topic to topic, but how do you feel that people um okay, how do you feel that people who have had both parents in their life and versus a single parent in their life makes a difference? Like, how do you feel like impacts a person? How do you feel like that affects somebody? Whether,
I mean, it
they have one
it can
parent or
make an
versus two.
impact. Hmm. It can make an impact having two parents, but then again, it depends on how the parents is parenting. Like the root of it is all about the parenting. Whereas one or whether it's two, that parent, that's what matters, and what they're doing. That's what has been impactful. But as far as like having one or two, and I say this because it's like you can have the one parent mother and the kid decides to turn to the streets, sell drugs, or he becomes a gang member, or et cetera, et cetera. But you can still have that same kid, or you feel me, have both parents, and now he feel like he want to prove something, and he still goes out and join the gang, or he still goes out and sell drugs in the street because he feel like he needs to make his own money, and that's the only way he could do it. So you know, I feel like in that moment, it's like that kid is not gonna make that move or is not gonna do a dumb decision if the parents is on point. If the parent or parents is on point. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I look at that. Like, because You can have 3 parents, 4 parents. Like, if all 4 of the motherfuckers is fucked up, that kid is gonna. I'm sorry to say, that kid gonna be fucked up. Maybe not. There's a chance where it's not, but the high probability is that kid's gonna be fucked up. Right.
Well, that's your personal opinion, but
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah, of course.
No, of course, there's no. I feel like what are the odds? We don't know the odds in between. People who grow up, because I've seen in certain scenarios where people have both parents, and they come out being just as like traumatized, like as just as much as people who have grown up
Hold on,
as
trauma.
single.
If we talk about trauma, that's different because you can get trauma no matter
Yeah, no, but that's
who
what
you
I'm trying to
got.
say. But that's ultimately what I'm
If
trying
you
to get
taking
to.
it there, then I don't want to cut you off. If you taking it there, it's different. But I thought you was talking about like, the impact and the decisions because like I only brought that up because the stigma is if you have the one parent, you feel me? He's gonna turn to the streets. He's gonna live that life. It's like because it's like it's compared to having both parents, you might not take it there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a father in the house, so it's like but I'm just like, that's what I'm saying. But if we talking about trauma, you want to talk about like elaborate more on that, like.
I mean, regarding trauma, I feel like everybody has their own way of interpreting what they I think they categorize as trauma. So like for first a traumatic event for me, like usually like somebody who grew up in a poor neighborhood, something traumatic for them might be something like not like getting some clothes or some new shoes that they always wanted. Like you could speak on it for years in your life. You be like, yo, I never got those shoes I wanted when I grew up. For like a rich kid, it might be different. Like, or it might be like, yo, I never got that car that I wanted. Like, it's like a different.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, but I'm speaking in just fucking shallow and materialistic shit. But like, just to give like a regular, basically like a basic example. But like even deep enough, like I feel like
You can have both. I see what you're saying, but when we go back to perspectives, 2020, that's what the 2020 podcast. If you go back to perspectives, you can have both parents, and them niggas is broke, and you might not be getting much for Christmas, but they gonna try. You know what I'm saying? You can have that one mother, and she just a hustler, and she gonna get you everything you ask for. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that's really just it's so much people in the world. It's so much different stories. It can play out in so many different ways. But I understand that. I can understand how a kid can get trauma because the mom is just taking care of him and trying to live and survive, and I can't get you a new outfit. So you might have to wear this outfit for most of the school year. You might have to wear these sneakers for most of the school year. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I know all the kids came back from Christmas vacation with new outfits. You still, I can understand that. Have I went through that? Maybe a little, not as severe as you think. You know what I'm saying? I probably, experience it, come home, and then they'll probably go get me an outfit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like, it's not like I wasn't always coming home crying about it. It's like it wasn't like me as a kid. It wasn't a real big bother. It's after a while, I was like, all right, you just trying to be funny. Like it's jokes. Like I feel like I grew up around people that was always joking, so it's like things didn't really bother me. But trauma definitely I can see it from that. Fucking not be able to eat. You probably go to school and now you dogging school lunch. You feel me? Because it's like at home you not eating. Like, and then people might start making fun of you like you school lunch eating ass nigga. And it's like, and your mind is like, bro, we don't have food in the crib. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one meal that we all sharing. So it's like I can under like I'm one of those people that's not like never think like in my shoes where it's like how I live. Like I can understand that trauma and see where you coming from. And you feel me? And it's not like I don't say nothing negative about it, but it can also happen whether one parent to answer the question. It can happen with one parent. It can happen with two parents.
yeah.
Cause I know a lot of single moms that get it done, and shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you can't even knock it. Like,
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm glad you know that because a lot of people don't see that. They don't see that point. They just feel like it's just the one way or the other way. where it's like, okay, it's never just like, okay, just like how we were saying, it's always this bad stigma around child support, single mom, even like, being raised in like
Two-parent home.
a two parent household. Yeah, no, it's the same. I feel like it's the same. I feel like for everybody, I feel like again, everybody experienced their own level of trauma, and I feel like growing up rich or poor or having it's the same thing. I feel like everybody just has their own perspective on how they grew up and how things could have been better for them. You know what I'm saying? Or could have, So regardless of how we grow up, I feel like it's not until you go out into the world and society reminds you of like what you're going through, and they let you know, oh hey, you grew up, and that's even me talking about personal experience where I grew up with a single mother, and it wasn't until I went to school people would make me aware of like what I was going through. Where it's like, hey, you grew up without a dad, or like first of all, my dad was in the Dominican Republic this entire time. Like he's never been here, and I didn't see no issue with it. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom raised me out here, and I got everything that I wanted or everything that I felt like I deserved. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to also work for what I wanted, even as a child. Because there was just a sense of learning and responsibility. But as you grow up, you start to like learn your own like values, and you start to take what you want for yourself. And even like knowing that my dad was in DR, having my mom here provide everything that I needed didn't make any difference for me for what like people would tell me like, oh yeah, you grew up with a single mom, but that, like you said, my mom always gave me everything that I needed. So like shout out to my mom. But like it wasn't
Shout out
until
to my mama.
yeah, no, yeah, I didn't realize until I went out to the world, and people are the ones that make it like the big difference. Because I feel like, and then obviously there are like economical challenges that they're gonna face, and sadly it is like it's different. Like again, when you're just doing things by yourself, versus with like a person or like with a team. So it is a challenge, so it's not something easy that people are gonna take up on by themselves.
Yeah. So Young Miami,
Yo,
golden showers, nah.
that you trolling.
Nah.
You trolling for real.
What's up? I can't, it's just a little moment. If you know, But we gonna end it here. We had a great conversation.
Yes, we did.
Appreciate you for coming. Once again, man, this right here is the 4th episode of the 2020 podcast. My name is Rojo.
My name is Dami.
Thank you for tuning in, man.
Thank
Rest
you guys.
in peace, my nigga Kenny. You feel me? Free my nigga Double O. You feel me? Stop playing. Let him out the nasty. You feel me? Stop playing with him, all right? But yo, tune in next week, all right? Because we going to be here, all right?